from this tradition. They wanted to pass down their knowledge of performing Iko Iko, but they did not find any suitable way to inherit this tradition. The old-fashioned way, yeah, is no longer interested by the Bajau people. So the purpose of this project is to explore Iko Iko by studying, learning, practicing, recording, transcribing the stories, and performing Iko Iko. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, basically there are three main questions that become my reference in conducting this research. First is, what is needed to learn, to practice, and to perform Iko Iko? The next question is, what are the characteristics of the stories from Iko Iko? And finally, what efforts can be taken to preserve Iko Iko? And this work basically is qualitative research project based on one case study, the Bajau oral tradition. I involved these elders or these performers to be the participants in my research. And the research instruments are interviews, direct learning, video recording, reviewing of transcriptions. And to carry out this study, I spent my summer break in 2012 from June to August. And it was exciting. Yes, really. Yeah. And this is the result and analysis. Concerning what is needed to learn, to practice, and perform Iko Iko, there are three aspects of Iko Iko. The first is the Bajau language. Iko Iko always perform in the Bajau language. So understanding the language is very important to get the sense of the story and to understand the messages revealed from the story. And the next aspect is the rhythm or melody. Yeah. Iko Iko usually presented in very powerful voice, and the melody or the rhythm is very dynamic. The previous slide, yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah. And the rhythm or the melody is very dynamic, sometimes racing and suddenly turning into a very low tone. And the dynamic rhythm followed by stressing and emphasizing certain words, yeah, to explain events that happen in the story. And the last aspect is Iko Iko is a large memorized text. Yeah, usually an Iko Iko performer has an excellent memory and is able to recite continuously the story for up to 2 hours. Yeah. And according to Makoto, one of the Iko Iko performer, the story of Iko Iko that she holds in memory today is the same as the Iko Iko she inherited from her teacher a long time ago. Oh, it's amazing. And Iko Iko has basic structure or stages. And every story in Iko Iko has 3 stages. The first stage is the opening. The opening begins with a special praise. Chalele sidinda bajo. And this praise always been the beginning of the story of Iko Iko. And this praise also serving as a demarcation to separate each verses, to separate the verses. And the second stage is the core of the story. It begins with introducing the characters. For example, a fisherman's family consisting of father, mother, children, grandmother. And the last stage is resolution. So when the entire conflict of the story are brought to conclusion, at the time the performer will end his or her performances. After conducting research in this field, I found there are at least 4 ways to maintain and to preserve Iko Iko. The first is direct learning from the Iko Iko singers to keep the authenticity of the tradition. The next is documenting, like for example, make a video recording. The performers will be recorded and the story will be transcribed. And the next way is incorporating Iko Iko to the schools. For example, all documentations created as a sources, yeah, to be as a sources for local subject content that can be taught formally in the schools. And the last is creating new media for transmission. For example, to make Iko Iko attract the kids or the children of Bajau, I try to perform the stories into a form of shadow puppet show. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the future implication of my findings. The result of this project can be used as a means to save the Bajau oral tradition, Iko Iko, from extinction. This means that the essential aspect of the Bajau identity, especially the language and music, will be preserved. And finally, the continuation of this tradition will open opportunities for researchers in ethnography, anthropology, history, and local language, to discover more information about the culture and the tradition of the Bajau community in Sulawesi and other islands in Indonesia. And moreover, the next step in this research area is find linkages between the traditional and cultures of the Bajau in Indonesia and other Bajau communities in Southeast Asia. I've heard that in southern part of Philippines there is a Bajau community in Sulu Island, call it Bajau, the Tawi-Tawi Bajau community. And I heard that the Bajau people in Tawi-Tawi still perform an oral tradition named kata-kata. I'm really curious. Maybe kata-kata is also Iko Iko, but in different name. And I've talked to Dr. McGinn about this, and I look forward to find more information about it.